Y'all, let's have a talk about the Helldivers 2 meta. We're going to go over why it's an outdated concept, why you should ignore it in Helldivers 2, and what you should do instead. Please hit that like and subscribe for me if you haven't yet, and leave a comment with what you think about today's video. I'm always open to viewer suggestions and would be interested in knowing what you'd like to see me cover. Also, check out today's sponsor, Dubby Energy, your tongue's favorite energy drink. Their no jitter energy blend lifts you up without a crash. It's zero sugar, and the flavors are great. Personally, I'm really enjoying the Icarus Strike Blue Tropical Punch right now. They also offer some caffeine free hydro formulas if you're caffeine sensitive or just looking to recover. Get yours today at w.gg and check out with the code MEDIOCRITY10 for a solid 10% off your order. Now, let's move on to today's video. Timestamps are in the description below if you want to jump ahead. First, we're going to start with what a meta even is. Essentially, in gaming, a meta is the optimal configuration by the numbers. So, traditionally, you'll see this a lot in games like League of Legends or World of Warcraft, where there's more or less a right way or a wrong way to play and set up your gear. For example, if your job is to be a damage dealer and a certain set of gear and weapons synergize with the skills of your class, so they do just a little bit more DPS, that is what you do. In some cases, a single choice can make or break your setup. Now, I'm not saying that skill has nothing to do with being successful in these types of games, but I will say over the years I've seen plenty of folks carried by their item levels. Now, why is this a problem? Reason number one, imagine you're a new player, you're a decent gamer, but you're not really one for Excel spreadsheets and math. You have little or no knowledge of what the best options are for you in the game, so naturally, you should be encouraged to experiment and explore what's on the table. Do a little trial and error, and go play the game. And generally, that's okay for a little bit, but inevitably, when you get out of your starter area and go do group content like dungeons and rank matches and things like that, you're going to start getting grief for the choices that up to that point have been fine because now it's not the best or it's not part of the meta. Now, I'm a firm believer that this is a major contributor to where toxicity in gaming comes from. Just people being nasty because someone's wearing the wrong helmet because they care more about how it looks than the stats on it. Reason number two a meta is a problem is what's called the cookie cutter build. Everyone runs with the same gear, the same weapons, and there's no variety in playstyle. It makes the game repetitive, you get pigeonholed into a role, and ultimately you'll probably end up moving on to playing an alt character or possibly abandoning the game altogether. Now, over time, developers have made adjustments to try to avoid the cookie cutter builds. But that being said, industrious players still manage to math out the most optimal choices for the various roles and playstyles to find the empirical best option. It's just a little harder to do now. So, how does the meta apply to Helldivers 2? It doesn't. There is no best choice. There is no optimal setup, and there's nothing that I would call a meta. There is the occasional bad option, but the things that I've seen people make work or manage to make work myself prove that even though you can have bad selections, you can overcome those by having good teamwork, good skill, and being adaptable. So here's a couple examples that I've had. A while back, I was playing a few rounds with somebody who was rolling with the new at the time Class 39 accelerator sniper rifle from the Killzone collab. From the get go, that weapon was getting dogged on, and for good reason. It has bad ammo efficiency, short range for a sniper weapon, mandatory 3 round bursts. It had a low rate of fire, and it had terrible recoil. His support weapon was the AMR. He had the supply backpack, the gas strike, and I think the autocannon sentry. And we were playing against the Illuminate. And if you know about the autocannon sentry, it does not turn quickly. So I'm not going to lie, I had some pretty serious concerns going into this round and how it would go. But I gotta say, this guy freaking rocked it, and mostly with the Class 39. He would only bring out the AMR when there were harvesters or if he was out of ammo, and that was about it. He knew his weapon, he knew how he liked to play, and he did it with gusto. Another example was when I was the guy with the weird loadout. On my secondary account, I was level 12 at the time. I queued up for quick play and thought I was queuing up for medium. Uh, Turned out I was being queued up for a level 6 mission on the bot front against the Incendiary Corps. My armor was for extra grenades. I had the laser cannon because it was the only thing that I had at the time with medium penetration, aside from my machine gun sentry, which I also brought. Brought the orbital Gatling barrage and a Punisher shotgun. I think the Eagle strafing one was really the only solid choice I had in my loadout. So it wasn't the worst build, and it was messy. But I'll be damned if I didn't make it work. I became affectionately known as the Hulk Killer because I would stand far back and snipe them down. I think I must have taken out 15 of them for my team to give them the breathing room to take care of everything else. I swear I was sweating by the end of that, but it was fun as hell. We ended up running a couple more missions as that group. I fixed my loadout though. And then lastly, there's my kid. He is an agent of chaos. He runs weird builds for the fun of it. He purposefully puts himself into bad situations just to see what happens. He's always out of ammo and stims, but he can break ankles like no other and just has crazy situational awareness. I've seen him slide under attacks like he's a ghost, melee enemies jumping to attack him just out of the air, run through hordes of enemies with an orbital napalm strike coming down on top of him with 10% health and grab the samples that someone else dropped, and then dive into a heavy nest to close all the bug holes while wholly unprepared and just come out victorious without a scratch on him, aside from being at 10% health. So, what's the takeaway from this? There is no gear meta in Helldivers 2, and I would argue with anybody that says that there is, in fact, a meta for this game. What we have instead in Helldivers 2 is just so much better than that. We have flexibility. We can run whatever gear we like and suits our playstyle. Do you want to equip armor because it looks sweet? Do it. Do you want to be a walking sentry? I support you. Feel like rocking a sword and board like you're an RPG tank? That's cool as hell, and I will cover you. Sometimes I like to roll with randomly generated loadouts just to see what happens. There's a website that I'll link below that you can try being a rando diver. It is a blast. So, long and the short of it, play the game your way, in your style, and unapologetically so. Do you have a cool story on what some might call an unconventional loadout? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to see those loadouts. I might even give it a try on one of my live streams. But with that, until next time, Helldivers, I'll see you on the front lines.